Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. You can support this channel through the PayPal and Subscribe Star links below. Any and all donations are helpful. Nothing is too big or too small. Also, before I get on with the memes, first a word from today's sponsor, Justin Vacula. If you don't want the credit card companies to drain your bank account like Count Dracula, then you need Justin Vacula. He's got the best deals on credit cards like this Chase Inc. Preferred Business Card, where if you spend $8,000 in the first 3 months, you get $1,000 cash back, or $1,250 towards travel rewards when you redeem through Chase Ultimate Rewards. That's 12.5% cash back, or 15.6% value that you can use toward your trips. It's the card on the far right side. He also has a podcast to help you save money in other ways. Sponsor links are down below. Now on with the memes. Number one, we have a well-rounded woman saying that the quickest way to her heart is by buying her food. LOL. How about buying her a gym membership instead? But seriously, the quickest way to her heart is eventually going to be her local pathologist on the day she has one too many puddings. But if you do buy her food, you know it's going to be an expensive date and an even more expensive plumbing bill when she sits and crushes your toilets. Up next is a woman saying that the greatest threat to society includes corn, weed, feminism, central banks, transgenderism, and more. She says she wants to go back to the gold standard in traditionalism, where men were productive and women stayed at home raising the kids. Corn frees men and needs to be left alone. You can also argue that feminism also frees men. Central banking, on the other hand, steals from all of us, and that fiat experiment needs to be ended. Number three, we have a woman named Emily writing an article called Diversity is About Getting Rid of White People, and that's a good thing. But isn't that technically anti-diversity to exclude one group? She sounds racist because imagine if someone said diversity is all about getting rid of dark people, and that would be a positive thing. She should be deplatformed for being so hateful. Moving on is a guy showing off 2 gifts he received from his wife's boyfriend today. A PS5 and a pregnancy ultrasound. I know this is fake, but it's still pretty funny. But you know that somewhere out there's a beta cock raising some Chad's baby and paying for it while getting a video game system from him. All this man now needs to do is get a divorce and he'll be golden. Let's also not forget his rainbow shirt and the books on the shelf laid out to look like a rainbow too. Number 5 are the 12 girls of your screams. The boat they were on is called the SS Minnow and was once known as a whaling vessel, and still is. My thinking is the Coast Guard has got to start putting weight capacities on boats these days. I'll tell you this much though. If you wanted to play a practical joke on Leonardo DiCaprio, put these women on his yachts. That way they could make Titanic too. Up next is an idea for a comic about the CIA trying to end Clark Kent and make it look like an accident because he's a good journalist, exposing all the crazy conspiracies out there. It would be a comedy where they'd keep trying to figure out why their attempts keep failing to end him. We know those guys are behind some of the greatest conspiracies of all time, including JFK and WMD in Iraq, among other things. Number 7 is an article saying that millennials aren't having enough kids to keep the population above replacement. A woman named Almond says that's because rent is $1,500 and jobs are only paying $12 an hour. Actually, the more likely reason these days is that most men can replace women with an Xbox, flat screen, Wi-Fi, and fridge. In the past, men would pay the rent, and today women work and pay the rent. So there isn't as much money for them to do anything else. Moving on, we have another simp or maybe secret pedo. I'm not really sure. He's taken his girlfriend's little sister out on a date so that she knows how a guy should treat her when she gets older. Looks like he took her out to the Olive Garden now. That looks suspicious. But I can't decide if he's just forward-thinking, simping, or grooming. You be the judge. But she doesn't need this lesson. She already knows how beta orbiters behave. Number 9 is Billy Pratt saying that every man needs a mid-level woman like this to call his own. And then women don't understand this. But on dating apps, this woman is not mid. She's a 10. But not every man wants this today because it's just too damn dangerous. She also has tattoos, so that lowers her status to just a booty call. Those are the biggest turnoff for me. Up next is a woman that says she's had 12 abortions. But I don't think that getting diarrhea that many times after eating a Taco Bell counts as an abortion. Women like this are also proud of themselves. Almost like serial killers or something like that. In Brazil, women like her, their vag is called a sementary, a combination of the word semen and cemetery. At least the kid is still with God and dodged a bullet before being raised by a single mother. Number 11, we have Gen X, the only generation that became 30 at the age of 10 and is still 30 at the age of 50. That's the best description for our generation. We grew up too fast and we're getting old too slow. We grew up the moment our parents left us home alone to take care of our younger siblings, and when our teachers mentioned there would be no pensions when we got into old age. Number 12, I really feel sorry for this child. The bad breath alone must be making they them cry. I bet that some of you would actually smash if she didn't have any crotch fruit. The poor newborn, though, doesn't even have a chance because Zur already has a rainbow colored cap and there's probably a groomer in the room. This is what happens when Rainbow Bright gets on meth. I'd be crying too if this was my mother. This is what happens when Portland mates with Seattle. Moving on, welcome to Norway, where the Great Replacement is just a conspiracy theory. The truth is, the modern state only cares about the number of tax-paying serfs that serve it, instead of who they are. Even Japan is starting to diversify. In the last few years, a person of European descent was able to buy a home there. As for Norway, I think this meme misspelled Norwinstan. This might also be an inner-city school, but most of Norway doesn't look like this. And number 14, speaking of Japan, Adriana Diaz wrote this article, that the reason there's a fertility crisis in America is because of male virgins. I kid you not. Are these male virgins on purpose, or are women choosing not to have sex with them? Remember, women are the gatekeepers of reproduction, yet men still get blamed for that. Women are generally incapable of agency. It's also not worth having children when they're hers and they're not yours. Up next, we have a single mom that's been married twice and tattooed both of her husband's names on her body. But this makes me wonder if she's tattooed all the other guys. Or would she have run out of skin if she tried doing that? This woman is a walking red flag, including her top. Swipe left, young man. Swipe left. The translation is, I'm the town bicycle. Who's next? Number 16, in 2009, this woman named Olga apparently tied up a man and force-fed him Viagra for 3 days and used him as her schwing-schwang slave. He tried to rob her salon, so I guess it's only fair. Also, let's not forget that women are attracted to bad boys, and if he was attractive and the woman could overpower that man, she definitely would be doing something like this. I hope this doesn't give any ideas to junior high school teachers. Moving on, I asked guys if they would do one of these too. One guy asked, do what? Hit one of those heavy bags for a good workout, perhaps. You gotta be careful though, because if she gets on top of you, you'll be going home with 2 black eyes. But on the plus side, no pun intended, you could use her to crush boulders with her boulders in your quarry. Apparently this image has also been edited. Gee, who knew? Number 18 is another lady with large Tommyknockers. She says that men that pay $60 for dinner expecting sex are cheap, and she thinks that she's worth more. Then she proceeds to shill her Lonely Fan subscription for only 15 bucks. I'm sure that by now she's probably asking 10 bucks or less. Any guy taking her out and spending $60 has definitely overpaid. If she likes you, she won't care how much dinner is and will gladly pay half. Up next is Pearl Davis, in her hierarchy of whoredom pyramid. Virgins are at the top, followed by low body count women. What I found interesting was that single mothers are higher than high body count women. That's the only one I don't really agree with. This is the sort of stuff you need to be teaching in high school these days. To the boys, of course, because the girls already know all about this. This is what the mainstreamification of the red pill looks like. Number 20, it looks like we have a classroom at Burqa University in Afghanistan. These look like strong, empowered women not allowing their bodies to be exposed for all men to see. It looks like a class full of people studying to be Grim Reapers, though. This is probably an old picture because now that the country's fallen, those seats are probably empty right now. Number 21 is Brittany Venti going to dinner and then go-karting. But what the hell are these? All I have to say is, those are some pretty awesome shoes for go-karting. This isn't an anomaly because here's a pair of boots that look longer than they're tall. Can someone please explain what's going on here? Is this a fashion statement, or is she carrying firearms in her footwear? Up next, we have a woman that can't spell wear properly, saying that men that spend $60 on boxers usually only have $3 schwing-schwangs. Curtis responds by saying that women that wear Victoria's Secret panties for a VAG, that ain't no secret. People say that neither of them can spell so good. But Curtis is based because he used her mistake in a sneaky way that's not too obvious. Number 23 is the trend where you support women at their lowest, and you're not a man if you don't. But her not supporting you at your lowest is perfectly acceptable, it seems. It's pretty common for a woman to leave a guy when he loses a job or gets sick. Notice how this woman has a light behind her to make her look like a saint. No lies detected here. Moving on is a woman celebrating National Girlfriend Day, and Ronald took a picture of her. He's her #1 fan. She corrected him by saying she's his girl space friend, instead of just being all one word. She publicly humiliated him that he's just in the friend zone and nothing more. That's when you block her and you move on. I'm guessing this guy probably just paid her even more though. Number 25 and the last one, well, looky what we have here. The consequences of a woman's actions. She fought for ISIS and probably helped end American soldiers, and now she feels broken because she was stripped of her US citizenship. How about that? What about the men that were stripped of their limbs and their lives? Don't they feel even more broken? Literally. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Give this video a thumbs up to help it reach more viewers, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Also remember, I make these for free, so donate if you can at the PayPal and Subscribe Star links below for more content like this. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.